Last question. Pope Francis said the other day that the Catholic Church, without changing the Church's positions, he said it had become too obsessed on issues like gay rights and abortion. What did you think of the Pope's remarks, and do you see any broader applicability beyond the Catholic Church?
I tell you, I have been hugely impressed with the Pope's pronouncements. Not because of any particular issue, but first of all, he seems somebody who lives out the teachings of Christ. Incredible humility, incredible sense of empathy to the least of these, to the poor. And he's also somebody who's, I think, first and foremost thinking about how to embrace people as opposed to push them away, how to find what's good in them as opposed to condemn them. And that spirit, that sense of love and unity seems to manifest itself in not just what he says, but also what he does. And for any religious leader, that's something that, that's a quality I admire, and I would argue for any leader, period, that's a quality that I admire. And so, to bring it back to the issues here in Washington, I think that, no party has a monopoly on wisdom. I think that a lot of folks in the Republican Party who disagree with me are good people who love their country, love their kids, want what's best for their communities. But part of the genius of the founders was that they were able to set up a system where even when there are profound disagreements, we can work those disagreements out in a sensible, civil way. And not every issue gets resolved 100%, but the system overall works, and ultimately the experiment in self-government continues. The fight that we're having right now is not about the health care law. It's not about a particular budget. What it has to do with is, do we continue with that process where we have elections, the majorities are determined, there's some protections for minorities in the system, but ultimately, we are able to strike compromises and then move forward. And if we can't do that, this country's too diverse, it's too big. What you'll end up seeing is more and more of the polarization that you talked about. That's not healthy for our politics. It's also not good for our economy. The biggest strength we have as a nation, I think, is precisely that diversity and our capacity to get everybody energized and moving, and that creates a dynamism in the economy, and the whole thing kind of holds together. If we start getting more and more balkanized, then we end up having some of the problems that other countries have. That weakens us, and that has an impact on our standing in the world. And that's something that we need to avoid, and we need to get that settled right now.
Thank you, Mr. President.
John, I appreciate it.